Well, good morning. It is the post-game wrap. It's a service of David Weekley Homes in South College Station in the Castlegate 2 subdivision. Learn more about building the Weekley way, go to davidweekleyhomes.com. What a football game.
Yes, sir.
My goodness, you kind of feel like Arkansas could have been up 21 at some point in the third quarter, and then boom, touchdown. And then boom, touchdown. And some goal line stands for the ages. Right. Gabe Bach and Jordan Pugh here, post-game wrap on TexAgs.com. Aggies walked out of this one, and it was a hard-fought 45-24 victory here over the Arkansas Razorbacks. Some great, crazy moments along the way. But, Jordan, overall, you're 4-0. You're 2-0 out of the chute in the SEC West. You're in first place still in the SEC West, and this team continues to show signs that it's getting better, and it's got a little pretty special vibe about it.
Well, I tell you what, you knew how big this game was all week. And all week everybody's been talking about how this can set the tone for the season, and I think you saw it here tonight. You saw the defense make plays when they had to make plays. The bend but don't break. Yep. That was huge. You probably saw one of the best goal line stands you've seen in A&M history.
Which one?
Man, that's a good question, actually. But, man, you look at it, you see how the defense, they kept the offense in the game. They just kept rolling, and then when the offense caught their rhythm, it was on from there. I think 28-point run going into from the second all the way into the fourth quarter. I mean, it was huge. The team, they found a way to finish, and they finished it extremely well. And that's something that the A&M fan base can be happy about.
Yeah, what we talked about here was, don't make the silly mistakes to keep Arkansas in this football game, because you're a better football team than you were last year. Better football team than 2014. Arkansas has got 5 offensive players now playing in the NFL. That would all start for this team. So, without question, Arkansas is not as talented top to bottom, though I'm going to tell you that Austin Allen, he really impressed me tonight. But at the same time, don't make the silly mistakes. And then right off the bat, after a 3-and-out, boom, Kirk makes a silly mistake, leads to a touchdown. Trevor Knight had a fumble at the goal line. But Arkansas had some of that same stuff, but it was A&M's defense, I think, that told the tale tonight. Getting down in there, you mentioned bend but don't break. But A&M had 10 different stops on plays inside the 2. And remember, this is Arkansas that likes to lean on you with physicality. And A&M absolutely did a tremendous job. I don't know which goal line stand you want to highlight as the key goal line stand, but it was reminiscent of the 85 A&M team, 86 Cotton Bowl no-go at Tacobo. I mean, this is the new Cotton Bowl, and A&M kind of gave a little A&M Auburn 1986 Cotton Bowl flash there with 2 goal line stands, and then boom, with the touchdown to Josh Reynolds, which gave A&M a lead that they would not relinquish.
Wow.
I'm going to say the second one.
I tell you what, I got to go with the first one.
Okay.
Because
I knew you would.
The first one set up the second one. You have to go with the first one. And you look at it, they stopped them.
Yep.
4 straight times a penalty came. Then they had to regroup. They had to do it again. That set the tone for the second one. When you look at this defense, they needed that. When you look at the progression of the season so far, you look at the UCLA game, how they gave up points and they relinquished the lead late. You look at what they did, the overtime win. You look at the Prairie View, how they just demolished Prairie View. Then you look at the game against Auburn. They're starting to hit their stride. And then this game comes along. You see the goal line stand. You see how they got excited about it. You see that they believe that they can do this from here on out.
That was like 2 goal line stands in one drive.
Exactly. And so then when it gets to that second goal line stand, I think that's where the belief came in. You look at the jet sweep they tried to run. Amari made the great play there. And, listen to him in the presser at the end of the game. They were ready for it. They believed in it. And I'm telling you, I think the strides that have been made through Chavis, I'm telling you, man, this team, they're rolling right now. The chemistry is there.
And then that first one, it was key because there were 2 penalties in that little. It was like A&M had to do it twice because of a third down mistake. Right. Moore had a defensive holding in there too, and then the pass interference or defensive holding, pass interference on Nick Harvey. But that gave them the confidence that they could go do it again down at the end. I was so impressed. Let's highlight this. And my David Weekley Holmes move of the game was this. It was that second goal line stand. Now, you needed the first to build your confidence up, but it was that second one, stopped them 4 straight times, Armani Watts, and then it kept it at 17 all. Yeah. But for them to have 4 straight stops right there down in the goal line after Arkansas had run 19 plays and held the ball for 10 minutes. You're a defensive player. Tell us how difficult that is when this team is leaning on you for 10 straight minutes. You can't get yourself off the field. The dejection of the 3rd and longs with Austin Allen making great plays, the escape, Houdini-like escapability, for A&M to have that goal line stand, and then for Trevor to come right back and find Josh 92 yards. Finally, the Aggies had a lead, even though they felt like it could be down 21. All of a sudden, I thought that was the move of the game.
You know what? I have to agree with you in that. When you look at a 10-minute hold on defense, as a defensive player, that seems like an eternity as a defensive player, and that's something that you hate. But
Alex Parker's directing us back there behind the mic.
But when you look at the bend but don't break, all right, when you look at that 10-minute drive, they may have had it for a 10-minute drive. They may have had it for a 10-minute. They may have had it.
We're messing with her now.
Right. They may have had a 10-minute drive, right? Yeah. But to sit there and be able to hold them, and you talking about, it's almost like it's less than an inch to be able to hold them. That was huge. And come back, and I think that was the Josh Reynolds touchdown, right? Yeah. So to be able to hit Josh Reynolds, it's almost like the nail was driven right through Arkansas's heart. You know, and then you take that and you add the Travion Williams run. And to be able to put that dagger in there, I think that was huge. So you're talking about the move of the game. You talk about that goal line stand, those 2 offensive scores right after that. That was huge for A&M.
It really was. Knight's touchdown run right before the break. It was 17-10. I started thinking, why not take the 10-second run off? Why call the timeout there? You might have to. It was about 3rd and 8 right there. You're about to have to punt and give them another opportunity. And Arkansas had all the momentum. All of a sudden, A&M found a way to move the chains. I think it was, I can't remember exactly that 3rd down play, but then Knight hit a 40-something yard run. And by the way, Knight had runs today of 42, 48, and 62, and totaled 157 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on 10 carries. Also passed for 225 and 2 scores. He was huge. That was a huge moment there right before the break, because now you're looking up at the break at halftime and saying, we've been outplayed and this game is tied. Make some adjustments. Don't screw it up. And we'll walk off of here with a victory.
Well, I tell you what, Knight over 300 all-purpose yards. You look at that. You look at Travion Williams over 100 yards rushing. Explosiveness in the backfield. Our receivers had a down night. If we look at it from a whole game, you know, Christian Kirk was down tonight.
Outside of Josh.
Yeah, Josh had a big play, but the receivers really didn't carry their end of the bargain today. But you look at what Trevor Knight did, you look what Travion Williams did, carrying this team, or carrying the offense at least, that's huge. That is absolutely huge. And so when you look at, you know, the way the offense moved, you look at how they really picked up that stride in the second half. I think that's something that they can take and they can hold on to. I think that was big momentum swing. They caught the momentum back from Arkansas. They took control of the game. Like I said before, you're starting to see this team finish. That's what you want. You want that team to finish, and they smelled blood in the water tonight, and they took control of it.
I thought Armani Watts, Jordan, was the best player on the field tonight. And there were some great players. Austin Allen was great. You know, Justin Evans, Deshaun Hall made some plays late, but I thought Armani Watts was and Trevor and Travion, obviously. Josh Reynolds was good. I thought Armani was the best guy out there tonight. 9 tackles, 2.5 for loss, almost another strip right there at the very end. They said it was an incomplete pass, but he had the pressure on Austin Allen there to get them off the field, and that was a clincher at that point. Had the forced fumble right there. He saved 14 points on his own.
He did.
I mean, I thought he was incredible tonight.
He did. You know what? I mean, I can't make an argument with you on that. You look at Watts, what he did. I think it was 9 or 10 tackles, a forced fumble. Maybe, was it 2 turnovers? Maybe
the forced fumble and the turnover on down.
That's what it was. That's what it was. So when you look at what he did, the impact that he made, man, it can't be denied. But I tell you what, when you look at this defense as a whole, you look at everybody making an impact. Sean Washington is a guy that can't go unnoticed too. The stats may not show it, but the impacts that he made on the running game were huge. Another guy, Kingsley Keke. Defensive linemen don't ever get the stats unless they're DNs making sacks on the play. But when you look at Keke and what he did tonight, the way he was manhandling double teams, the way he was putting pressure on Austin Allen, the way he was making the running backs bounce outside. So Watts, Evans, those guys can make those tackles was huge tonight. Of course, Watts was the guy. He was the guy tonight. He was the spearhead. He was the one who was doing everything for that defense. But those guys, those other two with Washington, Keke, man, you got to make an argument for them as well. Watts
was probably a little bit tired of everybody starting to give Justin Evans all the loving, right? I mean, Justin Evans had all the love these first 3 weeks. 2 of the first 3 weeks, SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Watts may get it this week.
Well, he's got to get it this week. He's got to get it this week. You know what? It's kind of like how me and Trent Hunter were. competitive, who can get more tackles, who can get more interceptions. And that's what you see with Watts and Evans. When you look at these two safeties, like I've said before, man, I think they're the two best safeties in the SEC. They play well off each other. You got a physical guy, you got a ball hawking guy. They both can do the same thing. And to be able to have those two safeties along with two DNs that can get off the edge, it makes your defense dynamic. You can blitz, you can play man, you can do whatever you want. And so to have those two and have them competing, I think that's huge.
Let's stop and think about this for a second. Now, I know Arkansas passed for 371 yards, and that's an issue. I mean, I really think A&M's got some busts in the secondary right now, and that's a problem. I think the receivers need to pick it up. I mean, that's an issue, too. The receivers, this is supposed to be the best receiving corps in the country, all this kind of – I think they have a tough time getting open, and they have a tough time holding on to the pigskin sometimes. So it's time, right? Now let's go show it, show the reputation. There's a lot of holes out there in the passing game right now. But think about this for a second. Arkansas prides himself in the run game, right? Physicality. They're going to run forward on you. 40 carries, 120 yards. 3 yards a carry. A&M had 3 times as many rushing yards in this game, 366 on fewer carries, 37. 3 times as many rushing yards as the Arkansas Razorbacks, coached by Brett Bielema.
I tell you what, there's only one name you need to think of, and that's Jim Turner. When you look at what the offense did, you look at how Knight rushed. When you look at what Travion Williams did, even Keith Ford, you can throw him in there as well. When you look at the running game, how the running game has been dynamic, you got to look at the offensive line. Genesee was killing people tonight. I'm talking about displacing defensive ends out of the gap. And that allowed a lot of the zone reads to hit, especially when you look at the big runs that Knight had. It was right on Avery Genesee's side. And so I think that was huge, but you got to credit Jim Turner in that. And to be able to play a team like Arkansas, a team who is going to line up in 2 backs and run that power, and to be able to outrush them almost 3 times of what they did, that's big. And you're starting to see a shift in what this A&M offense can do.
So what does all this mean? You're 5-0 out of the chute. A&M's got a real good opportunity here. They're going to go 5-0 probably going to the home game against Tennessee, where they'll probably be favored. Man, I'm starting to smell a top 5 battle in Tuscaloosa. I don't know about you, Jordan, but what does tonight mean? What did tonight show you?
Tonight was a crucial night. Tonight was a night where they got their first test. And I know that's Arkansas and UC, Alabama. You hear the LSUs of the world. But when you look at what this team did, when you look at how Arkansas has been that one team that has physically beat up Texas A&M, tonight they physically beat up Arkansas. Arkansas played well. There was times where Arkansas could have took the game over. But what A&M did was defensively, you saw them stand up and you saw them man up and make plays. Offensively, you saw them get their rhythm back and you saw them absolutely destroy them in the second half. When you look at this team, there's a lot to be excited about because they're coming together as a team, and that's what you want. In the years past, you've seen either defense dominate one side of the ball, you've seen the offense dominate one side of the ball, but now they're putting it together, they're relying on each other. You're seeing the team come together, and they're catching their stride in SEC play, and I think that's big.
The only thing we don't know at the time we're recording this is the status of Ricky Seals-Jones. Justin Evans was in and out. Myles Garrett was in and out. Thankfully, those guys were at least able to come from injuries. We'll see about that. I saw number 12 on the field a ton down the stretch. So and Pryor was in the game. I mean, they were just trying to get through tonight. Arkansas will bludgeon you even in losses. We've seen that. So let's see how A&M recovers. The big question right now is whether Ricky's okay right now. Now, we saw him walking around without crutches after the game, so I guess that's a good sign. But is Ricky going to make it? I think that's the big question right now.
Oh, yeah. When you look at the injuries, with Ricky, he's an integral part of the offense. You look at Evans in and out tonight, so you really don't know the status of him. But I think it's one of those games where Arkansas is going to be physical. It's just part of the game. But we need to find a way to get Ricky back on the field because he's crucial to what we want. We got to make sure that Evans is okay because he's crucial to that secondary. It's good that we had the guys get in today because they got a little action, they got a little experience in there. But when we're making this stretch, especially the stretch for the SEC championship, we got to have our dogs and our big horses in there to be able to finish it through the line.
This is fun. You got a chance to see it with a bird's eye view. Your first ever press box experience.
Yes,
they fed you 4 times.
Yes, they did.
You're pretty good.
Oh, yeah, pretty good. Oh, good shape. Nice air conditioning. Didn't have to stand the whole time. And then we got it away with the win. That's the biggest thing. So you got to take that into
Jordan, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, big thanks to Jordan Pugh. Big thanks to AP with all the hand gestures. I don't know what any of it means, but we're doing a jig out here at Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium. Big thanks to David Weekly Holmes for bringing this. The final score again, Aggies 45, Arkansas 24, A&M 4-0. Out of the chute in 2016, 2-0 in the SEC. For Jordan Pugh, I'm Gabe Bach. It's the post-game wrap on TexAgs.com.